Because he was Jewish, the sensitivity of the Jews is first of all their religion. You can put, high taxes, putting pressures on, but not to touch the religion. The moment you begin, of course, to depress them, to put in, and actually like the symbol of worse was like to put in a pig in the temple. This is like a war declaration.
Yeah.
All the rebels, there were 3 rebels, were because of violating, the Jewish, religion, rights, temple, and so on. So with Herod, everything was, he knew that. So in spite, they didn't like him, and he was cruel, and so on, but he stood at the Roman standard. After King Herod, there were not any more kings, they were governors. Yeah. And the governors were actually Roman ones. They didn't know. They were not sensitive to these points too. And that was eventually leading to that rebel against Rome. Yeah. So it means the temple was destroyed at the year 70 AD.
Yeah.
Herod died at the year 4 BC, before Christ. So it means that 70 years after, would be really that rebel against Rome. It began, 6 years before.
So in other words, this city was built in honor of the king or the emperor.
Yeah, because, this is still, Judea was like a small province, for Rome, And you have really to answer, you collect taxes for, you're loyal, to the Caesar and Rome, then everything is fine. And here, they really did not really understood, these roles, and that's eventually I was really beginning that rebel against Rome. Now the rebel begins here at the year 66 AD, here in Caesarea. It spread to the Galilee.
Yeah.
67, 68 was at Galilee, at the north of the country.
Yes.
It was getting to Jerusalem at 70. And then it's the destruction of the temple and Jerusalem itself. The last stronghold, Masada, is at 73. It actually lasts for 7 years, 66 to 73, with that great rebel called the Great because it was all over the country. The other 2 that they were mostly in Judea, just in a small region, around the temple area, in the central part of too. So just that began over here too. By the way, with that beginning of Christianity will be here also at Caesarea too. That centurion that he was actually converting, into that new religion. Because we're really talking that slowly, change, from that pagan one into Christianity. It happened slowly, into it. So if it's like through the army, like over here too, and in other places and provinces, as well too. So this is really that importance of Caesarea. That will be really where the palace, of Herod first was. The other governors after them was over here too. And by the way, they had other palaces too. It was in Jerusalem when it was the pilgrimage to Jerusalem. It was in Jerusalem a palace. It will be in the wilderness. It will be on Masada. So wherever, when the king is coming as palace, wherever he goes.
Did you say Herod died before Christ?
Yep.
I thought the 3 wise men, when they arrived, they said they were looking for a new king. And that created alarm in the court. And I thought it was King Herod then. Who was the king?
They were talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
Because,
Yes,
it's comparing to the story of Pharaoh and Moses. Yeah, that he was, and then to save Moses, they put him into that,
I do understand that. But the strong legend is that Herod